On the news this evening, Jigawa tank explosion. Senate calls for assistance to victims.
I want to also pray that those in hospitals will also survive.
2025 budget. House of Representatives calls for speedy submission of appropriations.
The federal government must, not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next financial year, cause to be prepared and laid before the National Assembly and entered for the next 3 financial years.
Plus, local council legislation. Experts call for proper training of councillors at the grassroots. Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News. I am NTA Ojonugba. Senate has called on authorities to assist victims of Tuesday night's tanker explosion in Mejai Tora local government area of Jigawa State. The issue raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Senator Babangida Hussaini drew the sympathy of legislators as they expressed sadness over the death of more than 100 persons. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The tragic incident in Jigawa was the first matter for consideration at plenary Wednesday.
This catastrophic inferno occurred around 10 p.m. when the residents of the area trooped out en masse to the accident scene to scoop fuel from the ill-fated tanker.
This has happened in Lagos, it has happened in Ikeja, it has happened in my community in Akwa Ibom State before, and a lot of the burns were first-class burns. So here, over 100 people have been burned to death. I want to also pray that those in hospitals will also survive.
Senate mourned the victims and those bereaved and suggested intensified awareness by authorities to prevent such occurrence in the future. Senate passed for second reading 3 bills seeking the establishment of educational institutions.
Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science, Kogi State.
Federal College of Education, special in Karaye local government, Kano State.
Federal University of Education, special, Oyo State.
21 appointees of President Tinubu as commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission were also confirmed during plenary. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has advised Nigerians to disregard stories of planned impeachment of principal officers of the National Assembly, describing it as fake news and a figment of the author's imagination. A statement from the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Eseme Eyibo, indicates that an online publisher authored the mischievous story. The statement adds that the speculation and misinformation circulating about an alleged impeachment plot is the handiwork of fifth columnists, who are perpetual merchants of misinformation and purveyors of mischief. It reaffirms the commitment of Akpabio to transformative leadership and effective collaboration with the other arms of government. Senator Godswill Akpabio, it added, remains focused on the implementation of the 10th Senate legislative agenda and working tirelessly to address the pressing national issues of growth and prosperity. Meanwhile, the Special Advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate Bashir Lado, has described as baseless the online publication. In a statement, Lado says there is no discord amongst the legislators as they are working in harmony for the peace and progress of Nigeria. The House of Representatives is urging the executive arm of government to hasten up the submission of the 2025 appropriation bill for consideration by the National Assembly. At Wednesday's plenary, lawmakers also pointed out that time is running out for the presentation of the medium-term fiscal policy framework as stipulated in the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen tells us more.
Lawmakers during plenary were unanimous that the January to December budgetary cycle is a good policy that should be sustained.
They equally expressed readiness to receive the 2025 appropriation bill.
The federal government must, not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next financial year, cause to be prepared and laid before the National Assembly and enter for the next 3 financial years. The time the National Assembly requires to exercise its functions as enshrined in Section 88, subsection 2B, is technically being taken away by the non-compliance of Section 11B of Fiscal Responsibility Act by the executive.
And giving a time frame to go ahead and get these budgets passed within a month, just like what happened last year, Mr. Speaker, is going to affect our oversight functions.
The last budget, like we rightly noted, we were almost rushed. In fact, we were rushed into concluding that budget. And that is what we want to avoid.
This motion is referred to the Committees on National Planning and Economic Development, Appropriation and Finance for further legislative action.
A motion seeking stable prices of petrol and cooking gas was referred to a joint ad hoc committee for investigation.
Does the regulation allow the price of petroleum product to be different in Lagos, in Abuja, in Jos, in Katsina, in Gombe?
We are calling on government not to remove the cylinder that the poor are already living under oxygen.
The joint committee of the House and Senate that is already mandated to take care of this situation should speedily get to work.
Lawmakers called for rehabilitation of highways in parts of the country.
Federal Minister of Works and FEMA to make adequate provision for the erosion control and rehabilitation at Obinomba, Ubiaroko, Umukwata section of Old Sapele Agbo Road.
Liaise with the Federal Ministry of Works and relevant agencies to ensure the speedy completion of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road.
The House also received the report of its Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Police Act 2020 to review the service years of police personnel. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The war against drug abuse is a collective responsibility that all and sundry must rise to the occasion and fight. This time around, the House of Representatives is taking the lead in the campaign against drug peddling, usage and abuse, especially among female gender and the youths in Nigeria. Let's take you to Nasarawa State, when Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports on the 2-day engagements of the House Committee on Drugs and Narcotics.
Seated here are representatives of women from the North Central, critical stakeholders on the fight against drug abuse that come together to address the menace of drug abuse. The community participation stakeholder support workshop is also aimed at mainstreaming the women folks for greater monitoring to the success of the campaign for better tomorrow.
Let us remember that prevention is a shared responsibility. Together, we can create a supportive environment that empower our youth and our women to make active choices, stay away from drug uses.
I have no doubt that this team will enrich our participants in the administration and control of drugs. Let me also state that the unfortunate involvement of women in drug abuse and trafficking, who traditionally are the conscience and moral compass of the society, play a crucial role in the upbringing and transmission of acceptable values, goals, and aspirations of the younger generation.
Speakers at the event described the campaign as apt, calling for its inclusion in schools' curriculum.
Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Hence, the need for all hands to be on deck to fight the menace of drug abuse in society, especially among the female gender.
I will call that a state of emergency to be advocated on abuse of ingestion of narcotic. We must create a state of emergency.
Participants agreed that The two-day sensitization will provide new monitoring platforms and reach resolutions that will be of benefit in surmounting identified challenges. The committee members had on arrival visited Governor Abdullahi Sule, soliciting his support to achieve success in the fight against drug abuse in the country. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And now to grassroots legislation. If you have been following up on our news, we have reported that the Legislative Council in Zing local government area in Taraba State has started legislation of bylaws. What does it really take to have good legislation at that level? The Chief Executive Officer, Connect Developments, Hamza Lawan, speaks on what it takes for councillors to build their legislative skills in a democratic setting.
A lot of these local government chairmen and even councillors don't have capacity, they don't have skills, and they don't have experience because some of them, this is their first time in public office. But for us, we've also seen it as an opportunity, and I've written to the governors to say, as the executive of the state, can you host a seminar or host a retreat, bringing together the legislative arm of the local government and the executive arm, teach them their specific roles and responsibility. I believe that if state governors can invest in the local councillors and the chairman, it would also inform and feed into the agenda for their state, so that at that grassroots local level, the councillors and chairmen are playing their roles that connect to what the governor wants to achieve, so that the entire state would enjoy and benefit from the dividends of democracy. So as much as there's a gap, I've seen it as an opportunity, and I hope that the governors take the heed to our advice, invest the resources, convey them, and bring experts that have the knowledge and skills and capacity to transfer this knowledge to them as they occupy and kickstart their role in their offices.
What is the role of the National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies in grooming councillors for effective legislative function?
I think it's an opportunity, because this institute set aside by the National Assembly have learned a lot of lessons over the years, and they have capacity, they have resources, and I think this should be deployed to the local government. Deployed adequately so that these people would have the requisite knowledge, have the tools to undertake their function as councillors and local government chairmen.
What is your advice to councillors inaugurated on effective and efficient bylaws at the grassroots?
I think it's an exciting democratic journey for us, because the aftermath of the Supreme Court's judgment and President Tinubu are embracing that judgment and also giving a directive that elections must hold. It means the power is now going back to the grassroots. And for the local government councillors, particularly councillors representing various wards, your roles and responsibilities to make laws, and secondly is to oversight the executive chairman of the various local government. My advice for you is that you must ensure that your local laws are homegrown, where you collect feedback from the various wards that you represent as local legislators. But most importantly, ensure that you scrutinize the budget that will be presented by all the local government chairmen. Ensure that it actually captures the needs and aspirations of your wards that you represent, and make sure that when resources are disbursed, because right now the resources will go straight to the local government account. You must ensure that when these monies are disbursed, when they are being utilized by the executive chairman of your local government, you hold them to account, you oversight them properly, and you hold various town hall meetings at your ward level. So you collect feedback, continue to collect feedback, and give the local government chairman to execute.
Thank you very much, Hamzat Lawal, for coming on Parliamentary News. And still on effective council legislation, we have the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Rafsajani, who is encouraging Nigerians to show interest in local government legislation.
Nigerians should actually be interested in the local government election and local government affairs, because that's where we're supposed to be breeding, that's where we're supposed to be, grooming leaders that can even go to national level. So grassroots democracy is important, and local government election present an opportunity for Nigerians to come and actually participate in that election. If Nigerians are not participating at the local government level election, we may end up having some people that may not necessarily be suitable for that position. So I will encourage many Nigerians, including professors, doctors who are interested in politics, they should not look down on local government. In fact, we should actually have more competent, more qualified, more experienced Nigerians expressing interest to participate in local government election in Nigeria.
Mr. Rafsanjani, we really appreciate your advice. And still to come, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs presents performance reports to House Committee that will be after the break. Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. The Chairman, House Committee on Internally Displaced Persons, Refugees and Migrants, Abdullahi Balarabi, has expressed satisfaction with the performance of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs. This was during oversight to the Commission, where the Federal Commissioner, Tijani Aliu Ahmed, presented a one-year performance report from September 2023 to September 2024 to the committee. Ruth Aguele reports.
Records show that more than 6 million people are facing displacement across the country due to factors beyond their control. Concerned with the task of addressing the needs of internally displaced persons and refugees in the country, the House Committee on IDPs, Refugees and Migrants have come on an oversight visit to the National Commission to assess its performance in the past 1 year, identify grey areas and strengthen collaboration to enhance activities of the Commission.
This commission started as Refugee Commission, that's all. Then later they added migration, then IDP.
Presenting the performance report, the Federal Commissioner expressed concerns over inadequate funding that has stalled major plans of improving livelihoods for persons of concern.
I informed the committee that we cannot continue to do that into supplying food to IDPs. We have to also look at out of the box. And that's why we have introduced the Happy project where refugees and migrants were given some inputs for them to cultivate the land, get what they can eat.
We are satisfied with what the Commissioner presented, and we have made some suggestions which they need to improve. They are supposed to submit a report to us as to what they received and how they spent what they received, so that the committee will look at the areas that they need to be get more funding.
Both parties agreed to enhance efforts that will facilitate plans in proffering sustainable and durable solutions for IDPs and refugees across the country. In Abuja, Ruth Aguwale, NTA News.
Jigawa State House of Assembly, in commemorating the International Day of the Girl Child, for the first time conducted House plenary with a shadow speaker, Jamila Abdullahi, from Duse Model International School. Shehu Muhammad Dati reports that Jamila presided over the sitting with members of the Children's Parliament in attendance. The reports.
11th of October every year was set aside by the United Nations to celebrate International Day for the Girl Child. The day is to celebrate the strength, resilience, and potential of the girl child worldwide. For the first time, Jigawa State Assembly hosted children from 3 schools participating as Children Parliament from the state. Presiding over the House plenary as Shadow Speaker, Jamila Abdullahi advocated for the enactment of laws that have direct impact on the girl child. Though Jigawa State operates a free education system for all, the Children's Parliament solicited for more in the areas of healthcare service and other social security needs.
It's my singular honor and privilege today to sit on this magnanimous seat to preside over today's historic proceedings to mark the Girl Child Day, particularly the girl child of our dear proud state, Jigawa State.
Children parliamentarians contributed on different aspects of human endeavors.
With better infrastructure, we can connect communities, boost commerce, and attract industries that will transform our state economy. I see a better Jigawa for all the girls in Jigawa State. Thank you for it.
It is clear that education is the cornerstone of every striving nation, and I would like the girls to be the top and heart of it. Indeed, an educated girl is an empowered girl, and an empowered girl has the potentials and what it takes to change the world. I see a future where girls will be an embodiment of leadership.
Impressed with the children's performance, Speaker Jigawa State House of Assembly Harun Engiatin reaffirms the House commitment to ensuring continuous empowerment of the girl child.
In fulfillment of the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Jigawa State Electoral Council is implementing a policy where a girl child receives free education at all levels, from primary to tertiary level. The goal is to enable the girl child to reach her full potential in life.
The theme for this year's International Day for the Girl Child is Girls' Vision for the Future. In Duse, Show Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
The Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has taken a significant step towards establishing a new university for introducing a bill for a law to establish the Akwa Ibom State University of Education, Afana in Sit, to make provisions for its administration and other purposes connected. Assembly correspondent Nsikak Okon reports that the sponsor of the bill, a member representing Eket State constituency, Nsidibe Akata, says the bill will address lack of educational professionals in the states.
Mr. Nsidibe Akata, while enumerating challenges of education in Akwa Ibom State, says lack of manpower to handle academic and non-academic matters have been the major issues facing the growth of education in the country. He says if the bill is given accelerated hearing, the university will provide top-notch training for teachers and researchers that will promote quality education in Akwa Ibom State. The Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Udemotong, referred the bill to House Committee on Rules, Business and Ethics for rescheduling. Meanwhile, a bill for a law to provide for the peaceful and orderly transfer of executive power from one democratically elected governor to another and for matters connected therewith has passed through its first reading. It is sponsored by member representing Ibom State constituency.
The bill for a law to provide for peaceful and orderly transfer of executive power from one democratically elected governor to other and for matters connected therewith has been read first time, and
Moses Essien. Nsikak Okon, NTA News.
A bill for the establishment of a Bio-Entrepreneurship Innovations and Solutions Agency forwarded to the State House of Assembly by the Executive has passed first reading on the floor of the House. Correspondent Godwin Inalegu has the reports.
The proposed Bio-Entrepreneurship Innovations and Solutions Agency, BISA, is an agency dedicated to bio-based entrepreneurship, innovations and solutions. It aligns with the present administration's commitment to driving economic development, sustainable agriculture and environmental solutions within Taraba State. The BISA's primary goal is to harness Taraba's abundant natural resources, transform them into economic opportunities and create jobs across the state. The governor, in his letter to the House, said, given the importance of proximity to raw materials, the technical team tasked with the project assessed various locations and recommends Nakambu in Wukari local government area of the state as the ideal site for the central hub of the agency. There is also the plan to establish hubs in all the local government areas and special development areas across the state, ensuring easy access to resources necessary for the center's success. Given the potential of the bill to transform the Taraba state agricultural and economic landscape, the House laid the bill on the table and sailed through first reading at the plenary.
The Taraba State Bio-Entrepreneurship, Innovations and Solutions Agency Establishment Bill 2024, first reading.
Agency Establishment Bill 2024, first reading taken.
The Speaker, John Kizito Bonzena, then referred the bill to the Rules and Business Committee for next legislative action. From the Assembly, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
That brings us to the end of Parliamentary News this evening. Remember, you can still watch our news and other programs on the social media handles scrolling on your screen. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening. I am Ene Ojonuba. Bye for now.